has been about. If you missed anything, you can certainly go to hsn.com and see our last couple of items that we presented. We do have a great deal going on. If you spend $99 on electronics today or for the holiday weekend, you're in free shipping and handling, so something you might want to think about when you're shopping. Now, this next product here from Polaroid, it's such a smart product, and the price is really good today. So, you know how airplanes have like that little black box that records all the flight data and all the information and everything that's happening? Well, this is like a little black box, but for your vehicle, for your car. Normally, police officers have this, but now you can have this too. It's like having your own little personal witness to monitor everything that's going on. What's really cool is that, yes, you can turn it around and monitor what you're seeing. So while you're driving, anybody takes that red light, you're going to catch it all on your Polaroid high-definition video. But here's the thing, too. You can turn it around and capture what's going on inside the car, which is really nice, because I'll never forget when Liam started talking. He was having all these wonderful conversations with me, and those are all moments that, of course, I'm cherishing in my heart, but they're moments that are gone and I wasn't able to preserve. Now you're going to be able to do that. This is the Polaroid full high-definition dash camera with 8 gigabytes, that microSD card in there. Normally we present this at $79.95, and it's always so neat, so popular. Today it's birthday price. It's $69.95. 4 flexible payments for the 4th of July weekend of $17.49. It is the coolest product, and you're going to get the most clean, crisp, amazing video. Like I said, it's like your own personal witness. I'm going to bring out my guest, Rob Anderson, to tell us all about it. What a cool product to have. Remember, film outwards to basically capture what you're seeing, or turn it around and film what the action in the car.
Right, and you know, the first and foremost thing that we want to talk about is certainly accidents. There's an accident report in this country about every 15 seconds. There's about 27,000 accidents a day. And, you know, there's always very few witnesses, and it always becomes the same story. It's your story against theirs, unless you have a dash cam like the Polaroid HD dash cam. Then you have everything documented. Then you can recreate what happened for the police, for the insurance investigators. Whoever else wants to know the full story, they can get it, and they can get it in true detail. Because when you look at the video, there is, I've not seen, and you know I do electronics, I've seen very few cameras, almost none at this price point, that have this clean and crisp HD video at 1080 lines of resolution. This is just me driving around today. And it gives you also, you can see the 120 degrees field of vision.
Right,
so
you're
not
seeing just a narrow field.
You're seeing everything. You're seeing if people are going to come in from the side, if people are pulling out, if things are happening all the time. So this is really going to give you that full story, the full documentation of what really happened in that clear and crisp. And I can't stress that enough, because these cameras, as they came out in the beginning, you know, a lot of them were those VGA type cameras. It was grainy footage. They were very, you know, they weren't very light sensitive at all. So if you went from a bright to a dark area, you couldn't see much. You missed a lot. And I'm going to show you in a second how this works going from dark to light. But you're 100% guaranteed to capture everything as it happened in clear as day footage.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have those problems.
It's your own personal witness. This is not only for police officers anymore. And I love that you mentioned that, because that happened to me once. This gentleman crashed into my car, and then he was a sweetheart. He was like, oh, don't worry, it was my fault, blah, 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 blah. Push came to shove, he denied it. He lied about it, he denied it, and I was like, I felt so duped, because he was actually really kind and took responsibility with me. But now, if I would have had this Polaroid HD cam, I would have caught everything that happened. I wouldn't have missed a moment, and now it's like, oh no, here, this is actually what really happened. So, you know, it's your own personal witness.
I confessed to Leslie in the green room that about 5 years ago, I had an accident. And I had, well, it was a different experience. I thought there was going to be trouble right when it happened.
Right.
But what I really thought of when I first was introduced to the dash cam that was this good and this clear and this perfect was, if I only had had that, there would have been no questions. There would have been not this, who did what. And I told you that, you know, there were some questions about road signs and some signals and conditions on the road and wet weather and construction. There's always a million things going on the road, and everybody knows that. But if you can recreate it and show the video, then you have the case not necessarily won, but you certainly have put your best foot forward. There's no question about that.
And a lot of times, too, you're supposed to move the vehicle out of the way. So by the time the cops get there, you've moved the cars, and then it's easier to fib. You know, not anymore. Now you've got that clean detail there.
You're always, you know, you're always, what, a mile away after it happens. Let me just show you what happens. This is here, we're driving in you know where this is, in Clearwater in the roundabout. And who's coming over in the roundabout? Look at that silver truck. And it almost cuts us off right there. It's that yellow minivan, and we almost get hit. It's captured right there on video. And I can tell you that if that had been an accident, there would have been video proof that, you know, the driver of that car, that video that we got, was absolutely in the right.
And
there's no question about it.
Like, people will take a light or a stop sign, and you'll be like, whoa, where was the cop when that happened? You know, it's something that, it's basically like a set of eyes keeping you safe and protected. Now, Rob, you were telling me, too, because what good would it do if you had to turn it on when stuff was happening?
Right. This
is motion sensitive. This turns on and records on its own.
It has a motion sensor. So that's one thing that I really wanted to bring up about it, is that this is really a hands-free, no worries device. You plug it in your power adapter, what used to be known as a cigarette lighter, and you basically can power it on and forget about it, because it has a motion sensor in it, so it senses when the car is moving. That's when it begins to record. When it senses that the car is stopped, it stops to record, and it powers down when the car powers down. So this really doesn't have to necessarily be for the gadget guy, though it's great if you have someone in your life that's a gadget person. They're going to love it, because it's really, really cool to have on the dashboard. But if you're not really that type of gadget person, you just want to have that peace of mind, insurance on your insurance, then this is perfect for you, because you really don't have to think about it. You install it right on your dash, and you have the ability to have that peace of mind and have documentation of whatever happens on the road. And we talked about, you know, there's fun things that happen too, and it's easy to use in those cases as well, where there's kids in the back seat having a good time.
I know. I mean, my son, when he sings certain songs and he's making up his own words, it's just so cool. Look at that. Now you're capturing
eating ice cream,
moment.
having a blast. There's nothing better than that, is there?
And Rob, we were talking about too, though, of course you're going to preserve those really cool moments as well. But heaven forbid there was an accident, right? It actually senses that accident and it records the accident, right? It goes into emergency recording.
It has a triple axis sensor.
And it will protect that recording, so it won't record over. I mean, it's a really smart system. It
will. It senses an impact, and it senses actually a sudden movement or change in the vehicle's speed. So even in a real heavy braking or somewhere where it might even anticipate there being a problem, it's going to record that video in what it calls emergency mode. Then it's going to protect it so it can't be recorded over. The SD card that we include that comes with it, it absolutely will record about an hour and a half at 5-minute clips. And then if you don't delete anything or nothing is protected, it'll start to record to over the older files.
Right.
Okay? But if something happens, it knows something happened. It has the triple axis sensor. It knows if there's an impact. It knows something that is very drastic has changed in the driving. It'll record it, it'll lock it down, and it'll be there forever. So it's not something you have to worry about checking and going back to. And did I get that? It's there.
And now also, so when you do capture, for example, your son or your daughter or your grandchild singing a cool song, how do I preserve that? Do I download it into my computer?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes with the SD card and the SD card sleeve that you can pop right in the computer, and I think that's a great value, because there's another one, Leslie.
See?
That's a parking lot. How often does that happen when you're in a parking lot?
All the time.
They're really, you know, and those can be very disputed, very bad accidents. I mean, they can cause thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage.
This was a technology or a system or a convenience that was only preserved or reserved for police officers.